If it's love, I want everything. Touch my soul, touch my heart, don't judge my mental. They told me that life is simple, been real since Papa Pimple. I started out in the rental, Sonata, the presidential. Speak once and listen twice, they told me that less is simple.
GATV family, what's good, what's good? We back at it again, guys, with an interesting one. Now, all this will come to fruition. You know, when you're baking, you gotta have patience, and the end result, if done right, comes out scrumptious and gorgeous. Now, let's go ahead and dissect this. I'm reading this article. Gabriel Union gives strong speech at NAACP Image Awards, pushing LGBTQ plus rights and intersectionality. Let's look at the lovely family. And folks, if you understand, in a lot of the latest pictures, and this is a little old, I'm not gonna lie, but in a lot of the latest pictures, you won't see the other sons around. And it's really deep. But look, let's go ahead and read this, and I'm just gonna tell you guys my point. My point is, this NAACP organization is not for the black nuclear family. It is not, people. I have nothing against LGBTQ plus community. All I'm saying is I understand the agenda that's being pushed that overshadows so-called equal rights for black Americans when it's solely dealing with the black experience in this United States of America. Now, I'm all for one that doesn't necessarily let instances of racism and other discriminatory, tactics derail my movement. We're always gonna have motion over here because I know the only thing dead about progress is you being lazy and not doing anything about it. Progress comes in many shapes and forms. So the little that you do with yourself, these instances of racism, it's not the biggest issue in your life, I can promise you. But the NAACP is now basically obsolete, especially with young folks. They don't want anything to do with this. So let's read the article. Over the weekend, Dwayne Wade and his wife, Gabby, won the prestigious President's Award at the NAACP at the 54th Annual Image Awards. 54th, and we still got women being portrayed as whores. And even when black people are in the direction of these so-called films, we still portray our women as whores, sexual objects, our men as thugs, etc. And we know what goes on in reality, but you guys don't want to take it back to the glory days. You guys don't want to, give homage to the many of us, our many legends that have bled passion for their people. You want to do things like this, so let's continue. They got these Image Awards in Los Angeles. During their acceptance speech, both D. Wade and Gabby chose to speak almost exclusively about their transgender daughter, Zaya, and black LGBTQIALB rights. As media take, and I'm not really being derogatory towards that group. I'm just saying, I'm not trying to go through the whole alphabet just to label a group. What are you? And give me that and I'll run with it. Maybe something more, inclusive, transparent, and then, we could possibly run with it. But all that LGBT, there's always a new letter coming in. Shout out to Dave Chappelle. As Media Takeout reported on Friday, a court granted D. Wade and Zaya over the wishes of Zaya's mother, by the way, folks, who is totally against this. And they were given the right to change the teenager's gender legally. They say it was a pretty impassioned speech, so of course, we should go check this out.
NAACP, it's humbling to stand here surrounded by friends and heroes, OGs and icons, all working to advance the lives of black people and pay respect to an organization that has led us through over a century of relentless challenge, pain, triumph, and change, and now stands with us again at the foot of a very new era of activism. A new era that demands our collective answer to one simple question. Will we fight for some, or will we fight for all of our people?
All right, folks, let's check this out real quick. Now, folks, I'm only pausing it because the hypocrisy in that sentence she says, will we fight for some or all of our people? Of course, she's giving the correlation of us fighting as a whole, Gabby, as a whole in terms of our skin color, which we have no choice, as a whole of a people, black race. She's challenging us giving energy towards that versus a sector of our community as a whole in the in the human race, which is LGBTQ. Now, I want someone to raise their hand if they ever have seen Gabby ever fight for anything black other than her man's, you know what? Have she ever fought anything? This is how you know, folks, this is an agenda. It's to the point you can cancel me, say whatever you want. This is a woman that has no works to show for of moving the needle in the black community besides when she was crying foul with her role on America's Got Talent. Other than that, she has never pushed for anything dealing with a grassroots movement with racism. Now she's doing this. Let's continue.
Let's just name a couple hard truths. First, the intersection of black rights and the rights of the LGBTQIA, trans, and gender nonconforming people continues to be rough. It's a huge understatement. Even as we demand equality at the top of our lungs, we consistently fail to extend our advocacy to protect some of our most vulnerable among us. And second, black trans people are being targeted, terrorized, and hunted in this country. Every day, everywhere. And there's rarely a whisper about it. We honestly don't approach this work as activists or leaders as much as we do this as parents. Parents who love our children and will do whatever the hell we can to keep them seen and secure and safe. Or justice systems to look the other way when black trans people are under attack. So we are humbled and we are hopeful for the future. We are hopeful that we may witness a real shift in the fight for justice. The moment the movement makes room for everyone. Everyone. Thank you.
Now, folks, I'm not going to even continue the rest of this so-called passionate speech. You can see the title right there for yourself. I'm sure it's everywhere. Knock yourself out. But I understand what's going on here. Now, the phoniness of Hollywood in general cannot be compared to the phoniness of black folks when they get in that space, especially of the likings of a Gabriel Union, who has always been portrayed as the black replica of the blonde, dumb woman. She's just in reverse, the black woman. She has never been intellectual to me whatsoever. She has never done film that showcased a brilliance coming out of her, but she's so passionate about a child she did not push out, going against what the mother wants, has a so-called buck-broken husband who's not gonna chime in unless he's, all sorts of, we're not gonna even go there with D-Wade, but y'all know where I was going with that. But this woman speaks as if she's doing a gesture of goodwill for the entire black community. It's a joke, and the NAACP allows this. But folks, the point of this goes even deeper than this agenda that is now seemingly spearheaded by so many black folks in the Western Hemisphere. You see, they can't really go all the way in depth in Africa with that mess. Their leaders are just going against it. They don't understand what cancel culture is, and they could give 2 cents. Now, they have their own issues going on over there, but I'm sticking to this subject, so we're not going to deflect. My biggest issue has always been with the NAACP, an organization that was not even funded from black people. Yes, donations taken in from black folks, but it was not established from black people. That's number one. And I will have a 2-part video coming out further down the line explaining what I meant by black folks did not even fund this movement. Yet it has been outlasting decade after decade, not really having any real movements nor fulfillments promised, but they're still here, pushing agendas like this over here. Did we forget we still have many, many black children missing every year, specifically black women and black girls? Boys as well, but I'm just giving you guys, the cream puff of it all. There's so many black women that go missing every year. No one talks about this. Forget the fact that they are the mothers of civilization. And you will understand once you get what I'm trying to tell you. But here's my thing. The NAACP doesn't push any black agenda as it relates to any heterosexual community in our black space. You better believe they do not. But I was watching a video and I wanted to share this. It's from Omega Psi Phi Fraternity Inc. Now, I have my own views about Greek fraternities in the black community, but nonetheless, they asked a pivotal question. Is the NAACP still relevant? And once you start hearing this brother right here start speaking, his name is Hank Johnson. I've been following him for a while. He's with the Congressional Black Caucus, who doesn't do a damn thing. And you can hear just the nonchalant energy coming out of his voice because he knows it's BS in this organization and what it represents. Check this out.
I think our young people have to understand that
and to be a force for those organizations to be able to contribute to the betterment of our society in whatever way that they deem appropriate. Everybody's not going to do voter registration. Everybody's not going to do support for education. There's so many areas that everybody's not going to do juvenile delinquency or criminal justice reform. Everybody won't be out protesting, but there's something that each one of us can do. And if it's only to simply join an organization that has people and pay our dues to organizations that are advancing the ball. If that's all that we do, at least we will have done something. But in terms of connecting with our young people, I think it's really important. There's a chasm between the generations, and communicate with them, they have to pull their pants up. Maybe we should understand that they are doing their thing, which is a little different than the way that we did our thing. It's easy to point at them and say, man, pull your pants up. But when you look around you and see everybody got their pants drooping, and that's what they do, then maybe you say, okay, well, all right, let me school you, young man. And instead of doing it harshly, doing it from a mutual respect kind of thing, and just getting into the hearts of our young people, getting them to understand that we love them and we're here for you.
Now, I don't know about y'all, but how could you sit there and really listen into this man's soul in what he's so-called speaking on and really believe he gives a damn about this community? I mean, it sounds like garbage being regurgitated. I mean, the guy had no energy to speak on this. For God's sakes, he's still talking about pants. These youngins are literally deleting one another out here in the streets. Inflation is so freaking crazy right now, and you know it's gonna affect our community worse. And this man is talking about nonsense like this. Look, I don't mean to beat a dead horse, and that is exactly what the NAACP is, a dead horse. But I just want to show you guys how a lot of these elders have failed us. You better believe just because they're old and gray, it don't mean that they have wisdom, nor do they have passion, nor care for our people. That's why you got a lot of YouTubers popping up trying to, try something different. It's almost like freestyle. We're just running with what we can from our sincerity, and I can't speak for everybody, but I know I am speaking for me when I say I'm very sincere in this space. But when you see the Gabriel Unions and Dwayne Wades of the world pushing their daughter out in this space, I mean, enough is enough, man. This seems like it's strictly targeted for black folk. Let's just call it out right now. This is specifically targeted towards black folks. I could understand this coming from a Caucasian organization, network, whatever, but it's coming from I was about to say it's coming from the NAACP, but like I said, folks, go find out who funded this organization. But let me speak to it in the realm of the talking heads, which are the fools like Hank Johnson right over there. These black faces that think they can come in this media space and speak on us as if they were elected leaders. I'm sorry, but I gotta call this out, man. When you see organizations pushing BS like that, a young brother in so-called Zion, but he wants to be called Zaya, so let me just go with that, Zaya, whose birth mother may have dropped the ball to where she doesn't have custody, but nonetheless, she carried that seed for 9 months. She's against this stuff. I have never heard this Zaya character's brothers come out and speak on this. I haven't heard Dwayne Wade's family come out and speak on this. I haven't heard Gabriel Union's family come out and speak on this. But these two keep parading this young man around like he's some type of experiment. I'm sorry, it's disgusting. The NAACP award the organization hasn't been relevant in how long? These are the same people that orchestrated Rosa Parks to become some type of scapegoat of sitting behind a bus when people decades behind her already were doing that. As a matter of fact, the woman they picked only didn't get to become the face of the boycott movement because, back in those days, if you had a child out of wedlock, it was something to not be discussed about. You were put away. You were, hid under a rug, hid in the closet. It was something embarrassing, and they didn't want that woman to represent the movement of the NAACP. So they threw Rosa out there. And no shade to Rosa Parks. I'm just telling you guys how these things work. All of these are propaganda. And, I remember being told at 11 years old, if you're watching that tube long enough, it's going to tell a lie to your vision. This is why it's important, guys, to have spaces like these so we can discuss. And if you don't want to be on social media, read, man. Find out what's really going on. And you should really consider yourself foolish in this day and age of technology that we're in. You think it's a flex to say that you're not into social media. But guess what? My children will understand what's going on so they can understand propaganda. Now, if there's something we got to discuss, I'm going to be all ears open. But I'm not going to make any apologies about what I would like for them. And let me tell you, being Zaya Wade and legally changing her sexual identity is something that I do not want for my children. And I make that abundantly clear to them. Not disparagingly, but abundantly clear. Because the black family must procreate and we must keep rising. We must keep rising. And it doesn't happen if you cut us off at the penis, yo. Changing everybody into this lgbtq agenda. It's been gravitating away. I hope you guys was rocking with me and like the video. Comment, share, and subscribe, y'all.